All right, I'm here today with my son's dirt bike. I don't know much about it, but it's a 125cc Rocketta, some kind of Chinese dirt bike that was given to him by his Uncle Tommy. So here's the bike we're going to be working on today. It's a 125cc Chinese dirt bike. It says here it's a Rocketta. And you get the 125cc from right there. It's been sitting in the barn for 4 or 5 years now. And I recently had the carburetor off and got the throttle working again. So that was frozen up when I started working on it. So I was able to get a bunch of penetrating oil down in here and get that broken free, cleaned out the carburetor jets, and got it running again, but it's leaking gas out of the overflow, so I know the float's sticking even though I did clean that, so I'm going to try to replace that today. And it only runs good with the choke partway on, and I believe it's been that way since we got it. So this bike has been through a lot. I can tell there's electrical connections that are missing, and there's the start stop switch is missing. It looks like a new carburetor, and so my assumption is whoever put the carburetor on set the needle in here incorrectly. Because I've cleaned out the jets and I didn't find any junk in the jets. So I'm going to clean that. I'm going to reset that needle today. I'm going to make it a little more rich, and we'll see if we can get it working good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure all the jets are cleaned out and then change out the float. This is a piece of guitar string. Guitar string is really great for cleaning out carburetor jets. Of course, you want to follow that up with some kind of carburetor cleaner fluid that will blow out whatever gets broke free by the guitar string. noticed this intake surface was a little bit rough, so I'm going to hit that with a whetstone before I put it all back together. After a few seconds with the whetstone, that intake surface looks and feels new again. Well, I was able to figure out how to get the gas to stop leaking, but I wasn't quite able to get the engine to rev up properly when I hit the gas. All right, it's been a couple of days since I worked on the dirt bike, and I think I had an idea what might be going on. One of the things that caught my attention when I pulled the carburetor off is that this intake adapter is about 20 millimeters and the bore of the carburetor is only about 19 millimeters. The next thing that caught my attention is that the carburetor's made in Japan, but the bike was made in China. So I remembered the guy that I got this bike from was really big on Honda Trail 90 motorbikes. And so what I think has happened here is he took a Trail 90 carburetor and put it on a 125cc dirt bike. And you can make that work, but you got to rejet the carburetor to do it. And it's never going to get quite the same amount of air through that smaller bore carburetor. What I'm going to try to do today is pull the jets out of a 125cc, drop them into this 90cc, and see if I can make that work. Here are the two jets side by side before I put them in. One thing that you'll notice is that the 125cc jets have a lot more holes than the jets from the 90cc carburetor. Also, if you look through the jet, the hole that allows fuel in from the bowl is much bigger on the 125cc carburetor. So I believe when I put these in, that's going to do the trick for me. So one last thing before I fire this thing up is I'm going to take the needle out of the 125cc and put that into the old carburetor, and I'm going to set it to the center position for the snap ring so that I can check to see whether it's running lean or rich before I adjusted it. And there you have it. The new jets did the trick. So in the end, I figured it out. Someone had put the wrong carburetor on it, and I had to change the jets out to the ones that fit this size of carburetor. So it took perseverance, like most things that are worth doing, but in the end, I got it working. I'd like to leave you with this last thought. If anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. The old has passed away and the new has come.